What makes someone a real psychopath? Is it their ability to manipulate, their lack of empathy, or the way they can hide their dark side behind a charming smile? Dexter introduced us to some of the most twisted minds in TV history, characters who didn't just kill, but did it with purpose, pleasure, or a disturbing set of rules. Some of them were cold and calculating. Others were wild and unpredictable. And then there were those who believed they were doing the right thing, even as they left a trail of bodies behind them. In this video, we're ranking the most psycho characters in Dexter, starting with the ones who were just a little off and working our way up to the ones who were completely out of their minds. Whether they were obsessive manipulators, brutal killers, or something far worse, each of these characters proved that true darkness comes in many forms. So, who was the most psychotic of them all? The answer might surprise you. Before we get into the psychotic characters in Dexter, we need your help. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So if you enjoy videos like this, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. It really helps the channel grow. All right, let's get into it. Lila West wasn't a serial killer, but that doesn't mean she wasn't dangerous. What made her terrifying wasn't just what she did, it was the way she got inside people's heads, twisting them to her will. She wasn't driven by a need to kill, but by an obsession with control, chaos, and destruction. From the moment she entered Dexter's life, Lila proved she was willing to push boundaries. At first, she seemed like just a reckless artist with a wild streak, but it didn't take long for her true nature to surface. She manipulated Dexter, convincing him that he needed her, that she understood him in ways no one else could. But the moment he tried to pull away, she became unhinged. Lila's brand of psychopathy was fueled by obsession. She didn't just want Dexter, she wanted to consume him. When emotional manipulation wasn't enough, she turned to arson, setting fires to get his attention. And when that didn't work, she resorted to murder, proving that she was willing to eliminate anyone who got in her way. She may not have had a body count like some of the others on this list, but her unpredictability and willingness to destroy made her a true threat. Oliver Saxon, better known as the brain surgeon, was a different kind of psychopath. Unlike Lila, who thrived on chaos and obsession, Saxon was cold, emotionless, and completely calculated. Every move he made was intentional, every kill precise. There was no passion behind his murders, just the cold detachment of someone who saw human lives as nothing more than experiments. Saxon's signature was as brutal as it was disturbing. He didn't just kill his victims, he performed crude surgeries on them, removing pieces of their brains while they were still alive. It wasn't enough for him to end lives. He wanted to study his victims, to see how much he could take from them before they were completely gone. What made Saxon even more chilling was his complete lack of remorse. He wasn't driven by personal vendettas or twisted moral codes. He simply killed because he wanted to. Even when he found out Dexter was his half-brother, it didn't faze him. He had no interest in family, no interest in connection. He was a predator, pure and simple. While he may not have been the most violent killer on this list, his cold, calculated nature made him one of the most unsettling. He didn't kill out of rage or revenge. He did it because, to him, people were nothing more than objects to be used and discarded. Brian Moser wasn't just another killer. He was family. Dexter's long-lost brother separated from him after they both witnessed their mother's brutal murder as children. But while Dexter was raised under Harry's code to control his darkness, Brian was left to embrace his. And he did, fully. Unlike other killers on this list, Brian wasn't just after random victims. His murders were messages, elaborate displays of control and precision. As the ice truck killer, he didn't just kill, he posed his victims, draining their blood and arranging their bodies like works of art. Every crime scene was carefully designed to lead Dexter down a path, one that would reveal their connection and, in Brian's mind, bring them together as brothers in blood. Brian's psychopathy was different from Saxon's. He wasn't emotionless. He felt something for Dexter. But what made him terrifying was that his version of love was completely twisted. He didn't want Dexter to be his brother in the traditional sense. He wanted a partner, someone to kill alongside him. To Brian, murder wasn't just a necessity, it was fun, and he believed Dexter should enjoy it too. His ultimate plan? To have Dexter kill Deborah, the only real connection keeping him tethered to normal life. In Brian's mind, removing Deborah would free Dexter completely, allowing him to embrace his true nature. Brian may not have been as outwardly violent as some of the others on this list, but his deep understanding of Dexter, his manipulation, and his complete lack of empathy for anyone else made him one of the most dangerous people Dexter ever faced. Arthur Mitchell was, at first glance, a family man. He had a wife, kids, a home. He even led a church group and built houses for those in need. But beneath that carefully crafted image was one of the most terrifying serial killers Dexter ever encountered. Arthur wasn't just a murderer, he was a force of nature, someone who killed with ritualistic precision, unable or unwilling to break free from his own horrifying cycle. The name Trinity Killer came from the pattern of his murders. Every cycle, he killed 3 victims: a young woman in a bathtub, a mother thrown off a building, and a father bludgeoned to death. But what made Arthur even more disturbing was the revelation that his cycle wasn't actually a trinity. There was always a 4th victim. Every time he finished a cycle, he would kill a young boy, just like his own traumatic childhood had played out. What made Arthur even more unsettling was his dual nature. He wasn't a cold, calculated killer like Oliver Saxon, nor was he a playful manipulator like Brian Moser. Arthur was genuinely unhinged. He could shift from soft-spoken and polite to terrifyingly violent in seconds. His family lived in constant fear, walking on eggshells to avoid triggering his wrath. His wife and children weren't just victims of emotional abuse. They were hostages in his twisted world. Dexter initially saw Arthur as a potential mentor, someone who had successfully balanced a family life with a dark secret. But the deeper he looked, the more he realized that Arthur wasn't in control of his darkness. It controlled him. He didn't kill out of pleasure or necessity. He killed because he had to. His ritual had consumed him, making him one of the most horrifying characters in the entire series. And of course, Arthur left a mark on Dexter's life that could never be erased. One final kill that changed everything. Dexter Morgan was different from every other killer on this list. He wasn't reckless like Lila, he wasn't cold and detached like Saxon, and he didn't kill for pleasure like Brian or Arthur. He had rules, a code instilled in him by his adoptive father, Harry. His victims were carefully chosen, only those who had killed innocent people and escaped justice. He believed this made him different from the monsters he hunted. But did it really? Dexter's greatest strength and his greatest weakness was his ability to blend in. He could laugh, joke, and play the role of a loving brother, boyfriend, and father, all while hiding who he truly was. He didn't just hide in plain sight, he thrived in it. While others on this list eventually slipped up, revealing their true nature, Dexter was good at pretending. But beneath it all, he lacked real human emotions. He learned how to act normal, but he never was normal. What made Dexter terrifying was his ability to justify anything. Unlike the other killers, who acted on impulse or compulsion, Dexter was fully aware of his actions. He just believed they were necessary. He could be kind and protective one moment and completely merciless the next. When someone got in his way, no matter how much they meant to him, they became a target. Even those he claimed to love were never truly safe. And as the series progressed, his mask began to crack. The more he tried to live a normal life, the more his darkness bled through. He told himself he was different from the killers he hunted, but by the end it became clear. Dexter wasn't just another serial killer. He was the most dangerous one of them all. Not because he killed the most people, not because he was the most violent, but because, unlike the others, he made us root for him. He made us believe, even for a second, that a serial killer could be the hero, and that is the most psychotic thing of all. Dexter Morgan's world was filled with monsters, but what made it so unsettling was how different each one was. Some, like Lila, were driven by obsession. Others, like Saxon and Brian, killed without remorse. Arthur Mitchell was controlled by his own compulsions, unable to break free from his darkness. But in the end, Dexter stood above them all. Not because he was the most violent, but because he made us question everything? Was he truly different from the killers he hunted? Or was he just better at hiding his true nature? In the end, maybe the most dangerous monster was the one we rooted for all along. Let us know in the comments, and if you like this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.